Welcome to the Diva Details. Welcome to the Diva Details, where bold, confident women embrace life unapologetically. From love and sex to wellness and reinvention, we keep it raw, real, and powerful. No filters, no limits. Just fearless conversations to help you thrive. Let's dive in with Diva Mia.
Well, hello. This is Diva Mia. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about health in our 50s and 60s, as well as your fitness, your libido, and your longevity long term. So let's dive right in. So health after 50, it's not about doing more. It's about listening to your body more and figuring out what actually works with you, because everybody's body's different. And I think a lot of times we push our bodies like we did in our 20s or 30s, and we try to get the same results, and it doesn't work. You try and you try, but it doesn't work. And what can happen is you can create cortisol in your body. You can even burn out, because fitness is a strategy, especially after 50. You really have to work with what your body's capable of, because the more stress you have, the more cortisol you create, and the more weight you'll gain from it. And then when it comes to your libido doesn't change just because of your age. It usually changes because of stress, because of hormonal imbalances, maybe because you're inflamed or exhausted or just burnt out. So let's get more into this and let's figure out the way to fix this so we feel better, we live longer, and we have better sex, because it's all about that too. So let's talk about medicine. Medicine is there to help us, especially when it comes to hormones. Hormones can help with your libido, it can help with your longevity, and it can help with your health. But sexual health is also health. And so we're going to cover that today too. Longevity requires regulating your hormones. It requires not punishing yourself because you slipped up or because you didn't do something 100%. Be graceful with yourself. Give yourself some grace, because when you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, you're going to find your body may ache a little bit more than it used to. You might have joint problems, a little bit of arthritis here and there, some inflammation. There's things we can use to counteract that, but you still need to take care of your body the way it is, because it is a little bit older. And there are things you can do to try to help with your mitochondria and improve that function. There's NAD+, and with your joints, you can take hyaluronic acid. There's things you can do to help. But let's not just run to a pharmacy every single time. Let's see what we can do with other things. So let's start off with the most important thing. This is important for sexual health. This is important for physical health and longevity. Women, we need to lift weights. And you should have been lifting weights since you were younger. But if you haven't, now's the time to start. Don't feel like it's too late. Because I know a bodybuilder that didn't start really lifting until she was 69, and now she's 73. And she's competing now in professional bodybuilding competitions. So it is never too late to start lifting weights, okay? You need to make sure that you're trying to preserve your muscle, because every year you start to lose muscle, and you can lose a pound or two of muscle every year. That's not a good place to be, because once you lose muscle, your metabolism will slow down. You're not going to be as fit. You're not going to be as healthy, and everything will hurt more. So let's remember, we're going to gain muscle, and muscle is a good thing. Don't worry about bulking up. It would take a lot for a woman to get big like a guy. We don't have as much testosterone as men naturally. Even when you're on testosterone supplementation, you're not getting the same level that men are. The other thing is that muscle helps improve insulin sensitivity. If you've got fat around the middle, you're most likely have an insulin sensitivity, that issue there. And your cortisol is mostly too high. So when you lift weights, as long as you don't overstress yourself and cause a spike in cortisol, it's going to help support your hormone balance and help you lose weight around the middle. It's also going to increase your confidence and libido. I will say that the less weight I have and the thinner I get, the more confidence I have. My libido definitely goes up, although it was pretty high already, but it definitely goes up. Lift heavy, and lift heavy enough to feel like you're doing something. I always say if you don't have a little bit of pain after you left the gym, you probably didn't work out hard enough. You've got to lift enough to signal that you're trying to strengthen the muscle, but not stress it, not tear it, not injure yourself. And that's why hiring a trainer in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, even if you know how to lift weights, is a really good idea. Because here's the other thing. When you hire a trainer, they're going to make sure you show up. So I like my trainer because it's an accountability partner. I'm guaranteed a minimum of 3 workouts a week, even if I'm not feeling the best. Even if I'm tired, even if I want to stay home. With my trainer, I'm guaranteed to make it. That's the good thing about hiring a trainer as well. They will keep you on target and keep you focused. Muscle is your longevity organ. And no one ever talks about this, but muscle, the more muscle you have, the longer you're going to live and the better quality of life you're going to have. If you have a lot of muscle, if you've seen people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s even now that look really good, they all have one thing in common, and they are muscular, and their bodies aren't slouched over. They don't look frail and weak, and it's because they have muscle. Now's the time to start. Yesterday would have been better, but today's a great day because tomorrow may be too late. So just remember, start now, start today. You don't have to go to the gym. There's a lot of body weight movements where you use your body weight to grow muscle as well. There's things you can do. I know a lot of women in our age group, all they want to do is yoga and jump around. It kills me to see because they wonder why they don't lose weight. They're not losing weight because they're not adding muscle mass. It's not that you want to lose weight anyway. It's what you want to look better. You want to improve your body. You want to improve the shape of the body. When you improve the shape of the body by lifting muscle mass, you may increase your weight, but you'll look skinnier and thinner and more toned than ever before. Cortisol for people our age is a big one. And if you over-exercise, it will actually cause you to gain weight. Cortisol spikes in the morning, but it spikes more easily in our 50s as well. And so recovery takes longer when you have a cortisol spike. If you injure yourself, you're spiking cortisol. And too much cardio or HIIT training, which is high intensity training, will cause fat storage in your belly. If you have a lot of belly fat, that's what it means. It means that you have stress. It takes longer to really work that stress belly fat out. You might have to do some intermittent fasting in order to get rid of that belly fat. You may need to up your magnesium. There's lots of approaches. You need to decrease your cortisol first and foremost, or it's not going to work though. Anytime you're fatigued and exhausted, that's a spike in cortisol too. If you're overworking at the office and working too much and stressed about finances or stressed about your health or stressed about your relationships, that's going to spike your cortisol. You're going to gain weight. It's kind of funny. I talk to people and they're like, why do people lose weight after they get out of a bad relationship? The reason is because their cortisol drops. A lot of people realize they have less stress being single than they had in that relationship. Not everybody, but a lot of people do. A lot of it has to do that they're not working out more. Their cortisol's going down. Their bellies are getting thinner. There's some common mistakes that we need to talk about. The first is daily intense workouts. HIIT training is great if you want to do it 1 to 2 times a week, but don't do it every single day. High intensity training is where you go really, really, really hard and then you take a break and you go really, really, really hard 3 or 4 times. You get your heart rate up to like 80th percentile. It's fine to do. It's good for your cardiovascular. It's good to burn belly fat, but if you're doing it every single day, you're going to have cortisol spikes. When we're in our 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, our bodies can't handle that high intensity workouts. They don't want you to work out 3 or 4 hours a day. If you wonder why you're going to the gym 3 or 4 hours a day and you're still fat, there you go. If you're going to the gym 3 or 4 hours a day and you have not lost weight, it's because you're working out too much. It's called overtraining. You can also have fasted overtraining. You don't eat. You go to the gym on an empty stomach and then you in high intensity workout. It's okay to go for a walk fasted, but when you're doing a high intensity workout, if you overtrain, you're really stressing your body. And if you forget to ignore sleep and recovery, sleep is so important, guys. I will tell you, I have big challenges with sleep. In fact, if I could just take a week off and sleep, I would just be so happy. But sleep for me has always been a challenge. Sleep and recovery are very important as well. Sleep is when you lose weight. A lot of people don't realize most of your weight that you lose is at night when you're sleeping. You work your body during the day, but when you sleep is when you actually lose the weight. That's why you could go to bed 2 pounds heavier and then in the morning wake up and say, how did I lose 2 pounds? You lost the weight in your sleep, which is kind of nice too. But if you're not sleeping enough, what will happen? Your cortisol will go up, which means your insulin will go up, which means you're going to store everything you eat. It's troubling. Even when you're fasting, you can have cortisol spikes because you're fasting too much. So if your workouts are stressing you out, your body's going to hold on to that weight. It usually holds on to the weight around the middle. Remember that you need to take it easy on yourself. You need to be kind to yourself. The best exercise after 50, so I'm going to give it to you here. Here's your breakdown. You're going to want to work out 3 to 4 times a week strength training. Now, I was doing 6 times a week, and I realized I was overstressing my body. Now I'm about 3 to 4 times a week, usually almost always 3, and sometimes I There are instances where I will do a 5, but it's not high intensity. 3 times a week, strength training. Then every day, I think you should be able to walk or swim or do Pilates. You should be doing some type of softer exercise and vary it up, because when you work different muscle groups, like maybe one day you walk and another day you do Pilates and the next day you swim. Now, Pilates can also be weight training depending on how you do it. It can be a lot of body weight training. 2 to 3 days a week minimum. More likely, it's best if you at least get the 30-minute to an hour walk in every day. Walking is one of the best exercises, especially when you do it on an empty stomach, to lose belly fat. Then once to twice a week, you should do some type of mobility, some type of yoga. You could do yoga more than that, but you need it at least a couple times a week to keep your flexibility, to keep your mobility. It's restorative to the body. When you stretch and breathe and relax, and some people follow yoga up with meditation because they're already relaxed, they're in a state, and then they meditate. Some people will do like 30 minutes of yoga every single night to calm down and relieve some stress. That helps as well, because then you sleep better. Anything you can do to decrease stress and cortisol is great. But these are the minimums. Now, I don't think you should be training. You should never train with weights 7 days a week. If you have a week where you train 5 days and the next week you go back to 3 or 4, that's great. But don't be doing overtraining and don't push it so hard. And then 2 to 3 times a week minimum, you should be walking. You could do 2 to 3 times a week swimming, but try to make sure that you keep your body moving. Because if you don't move it, you lose it. When you don't move something, you lose it. That's the old saying we have is if you don't move it, you lose it. It's true. We also have the saying, no pain, no gain. But when you're in your 50s, it's going to change a little bit. No pain could be a detriment to you. Don't try to push the no pain, no gain, but do push yourself in the gym. Push yourself in the weight room. Try to gain as much muscle mass as you can, but you're going to have to feed that muscle mass too. Don't forget your protein. Your protein is so important. If you're not losing weight, you might have too many carbs in your diet. So look at your diet, look at your carb intake, and just focus on protein. If you can eat more protein and you protein load your meals, and try not to eat too late at night because your body needs the time to process. If you can do protein, eat earlier in the day, not so late at night. Try not to eat after 6. I don't know why. Most restaurants for dinner, they don't open till 5. So it's hard to make an earlier reservation. But a lot of dinner restaurants, they open so late and they stay so late. It's so unhealthy to eat that late at night. It's not good for you. Just remember that as well. Try to eat earlier in the day so your body has time to digest the food before you go to sleep so it can truly rest at night. Then your libido will also drop as you get older, and this is how you reverse it. You got to keep the cortisol low. I think I'm harping a lot on cortisol. The cortisol is such a chronic stress hormone. It affects autoimmunes. It affects everything. If you have an autoimmune disease, you've had chronic stress for some time. You've been stressed out and something triggered that in order to turn over to an autoimmune disease. But you've had a lot of cortisol and chronic stress, and that's what happens to people with autoimmunes. Decrease your stress, decrease your cortisol, and keep it low. Your libido also goes down when you have low testosterone. Women, we need it. We need testosterone. I'm sorry, we do. Now, if you have a low libido, it may also be because you're in a relationship that's not very loving, which is also causing you stress. That can impact it. Get on the right hormones, get some testosterone, check your estrogen, check your progesterone, because those affect libido as well. And then sleep. Yes, sleep is right there as well. We always want sleep to make sure that we rest and relax, because if you get good sleep, your libido is going to increase. You're going to be more inclined to be in the mood, if you will. Men, if your women aren't in the mood, are they getting enough sleep? Are they on the correct testosterone? Are they on the correct estrogen? Are they stressed out? Are you helping relieve some of their stress? Then blood flow. I mean, if you don't have enough blood flow, I know I have low blood pressure. Sometimes I have a little bit of a low blood flow, but you need to have blood flow to the area. There's things called the O shot that can increase blood flow to the clitoris and can increase blood flow to the G-spots. Remember, there's things you can do to help with your blood flow. Then body confidence. This is one thing I think women, as we get older, we're more confident in our body. We're kind of like, take it or leave it. If you don't like it, move on. Body confidence is something that you need to work on. If you're not confident, maybe you need to work out in the gym and feel better. But I think if you're healthy and your body's functioning well, you should be as confident as you can, because this is all you got. This is your body. You can change it the way you choose to, but this is your body. So try to make it work for you the way you need it to work for you. Libido is not in your head, though. It's part of your nervous system. If you don't feel safe, or you're stressed out, or your partner is making you feel uncomfortable, and you're in a happy relationship, your libido is going to go down the drain. I know that it happened to me. You've got to understand that your libido will do better if you're in a very safe relationship. To increase your libido naturally, you're going to have to reduce stress first. And don't add coffee if you've got that's a stimulant. Any stimulants will cause your stress to be elevated. Then improve circulation. Getting massages helps. Restore your feeling of safety. If you're feeling uncomfortable with your partner or if they're not making you feel safe at home, once you leave that relationship, your libido may spike and energy in your body may come back. And you may lose a bunch of weight too because your cortisol goes down. Remember that your libido will naturally come back as you feel more and more safe. A relaxed body, though, I will tell you, when you're relaxed, you'll be receptive to a lot more things than if you were stressed out. That's the truth. If you can relax, you will be much more inclined to be with a partner. Now let's talk about your pelvic floor. A lot of people don't feel comfortable in their pelvic floor area because after 50, they can have some issues. Sometimes your bladder or your bowel control goes away. Might have been because you had children. Your orgasm strength, it could be enhanced or it could be less. I mean, for me, my orgasm strength went up, but for other people, your orgasm strength may have decreased. If you need to improve the more you improve your pelvic floor, the more your posture improves, the more your core improves. And it will reduce pain and prolapse. So prolapse is where your pelvic floor starts to fall. You don't want your pelvic floor to fall because every organs are all in there. So prolapse is very important. Prolapse happens when your parts of your organs start to fall and get misplaced because you're not strong inside. You got to keep that pelvic floor tight. You've got to keep it strong. The more strong it is, the more responsive it is to orgasms, the more flexible it'll be, the stronger it'll be, the more coordinated you will be, and the better your sex will be, honestly. A clenched pelvic floor it's not powerful, it's exhausting. So if you're uptight about something, if you're stressed, it's not going to be it's going to be tiring. But you want a strong pelvic floor, not something that's constantly clenched. So to strengthen your pelvic floor, there's different ways to do it. You do slow, controlled contractions. You breathe in a coordinated movement. Then you need to avoid over-clenching your pelvic floor. It should take about 5 to 10 minutes a day. And you can integrate pelvic floor. You can actually do your pelvic floor training when you're strength training as well. You can do it when relaxing. You can do it when you're doing yoga. It doesn't take a lot to strengthen your pelvic floor and to tighten the muscles within your pelvic floor. There's also now a machine that helps people with posture and pelvic floor weaknesses. It's called Aim Strong. There's people that are promoting these and using them. I haven't used them personally myself, but it does tighten and strengthen your pelvic floor. Now let's go back to hormones a little bit because hormones help with longevity. One of the top 3 foods for your longevity and your hormones is wild salmon. It decreases inflammation. It's going to help your blood flow and it helps with your libido. It's kind of an all across the board. If you have it 2 to 3 times a week, wild salmon is great. It's better than farm-raised salmon too, because sometimes the farm-raised salmons can have different types of chemicals from runoff. Eggs are great too. It's protein for your muscles. If you're building muscle mass, it's going to be great for making you feel stronger. It's one of the perfect foods out there. The cholesterol is great for hormone production. I know people are always afraid about cholesterol, but it actually does help regulate your hormones. It will help with your brain and sexual health too. So I would say try to get 4 to 8 eggs in a week. And I know egg prices have fluctuated, but I'd say 4 to 8 eggs and it will make you feel better. And then beets. Red beets are great. If you juice, they have nitric oxide. They help clean the blood. They help with stamina and circulation. Then also beets help with sexual arousal. I didn't know that till recently, but I've been eating a lot of beets. There's that. You can have beets 3 to 4 times a week. I like to juice mine. Some people roast them. It's your preference really, but beets are really good. Add them to a salad if you like. Then magnesium glycinate. This one is huge. I can't say enough about magnesium glycinate. Magnesium glycinate is a cortisol reducer. And we have so much cortisol as women just running around, taking care of the kids, taking care of the house, then running our businesses and taking care of everything. Magnesium glycinate is one of the most important magnesiums you can take. It will reduce your cortisol. It's going to help with muscle recovery and it's going to help with your sleep. It's really good to take at night. Try not to take it during the day because you need it at night. It will help with your libido support too. There's a magnesium, I believe, glycinate that's called Calm. There's different types of magnesium. And there's like 7 or 8 different types of magnesium, if I'm correct. Take the magnesium glycinate as a different form of magnesium. It's not just magnesium. Some people say, I have magnesium, but do you have magnesium glycinate? And take it every day. This you can take every single day. And most people are magnesium deficient. Taking magnesium every day is a good thing for you. And then zinc. Zinc is good for women too, because a lot of us are testosterone deficient. And we need zinc in order to help. It will help our immune health. It's going to help our libido. Zinc can be taken 3 to 5 times a week, depending on how it will. You'll see a boost in the zinc with zinc usually pretty quickly if it's a zinc deficiency that you're suffering from. Then spearmint or peppermint tea, that helps with your hormonal balance. It reduces bloating, helps clean out your liver, helps with inflammation. Oh, I can't say enough about peppermint tea. It also refreshes your energy levels. You'll just feel more inspired. I think peppermint tea is great. You can take it at night, but I think it's best in the morning. You could do 1 to 2 cups a day. You can also do green tea. Green tea helps with that as well, helps regulate your hormones and decrease inflammation. And then hibiscus. What a great flower. Hibiscus is actually a flower, and it helps with your circulation. It helps with your blood pressure and your sexual vitality. If you're a woman or a man that has high blood pressure, some hibiscus tea would help. You can do 1 cup daily or every other day. It depends on what you need and what you require, but hibiscus is a wonderful tea. Then ashwagandha tea. Ashwagandha is a great tea to help lower cortisol. It's going to help with improving the libido, and it's going to help with your stamina. And one of the things it also does is it supports the nervous system. That will help you calm down if you've been in a stressful situation, if you have autoimmune issues. Ashwagandha is a great thing to help calm your nervous system. You can do 1 cup of tea in the evenings. It's a more of a relaxing type of tea, ashwagandha tea is. But overall, your longevity is about self-regulation of your immune system, self-regulation of your nervous system, but it's not about deprivation. The key to longevity is after 50 is to build your muscle, increase your stress, and sleep very deeply. I would recommend getting either a sleep ring or a sleep watch that tracks your sleep as well, so you actually know how much you're sleeping. I was shocked to find out I was only sleeping 3 to 4 hours a night until I got the ring, and now I've got it up to about 5.5 to 6. But I wasn't sleeping well at all. So get a sleep watch, get a sleep ring. Even if you're in bed for 8 hours, you may be only getting 4 hours of sleep. Then you need to eat to support your hormones. Eat foods that help decrease estrogen if you're high on estrogen, if you're estrogen dominant. Then keep pleasure in your life. In our 40s, 50s, and 60s, I think some women kind of check out as far as pleasure. There's nothing wrong with having pleasure and joy, whether it's from yourself or from a man. Keep that in your life, because longevity is not just about adding years. It's about adding quality to your life. It truly is. Health doesn't disappear at 50. It demands respect, and it demands that we move forward in an educated way and take care of ourselves in a way that we can live healthy and strong into our 70s, 80s, and 90s and beyond, because there's people in there over 100 that are still running out there. Strength and sexuality and vitality are not bonuses. It's your birthright. It's your job to make this happen for you. You have the best quality of life possible. It will also help stave off dementia the stronger you are in your body. You don't need to punish your body to transform it. You just need to be its partner. You need to love your body. You need to give it some grace. This will help you grow. This will help you maintain the vitality that you need and that you want into your older years. I hope this helped. There's many supplements out there that you can take. I'm probably going to do a podcast just on supplements and a podcast just on food and a podcast on tea. You can have that across the board, but I wanted to give you just a brief summary to help you grow and help your body transition as you go through life. So remember, hormones, supplementation, food, and exercise. And that will help your body grow and maintain a healthy lifestyle. This is Diva Mia. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. We love hearing from you. Visit thedivadetails.com to connect. See you next week for more.
Diva Details podcast and website are intended solely for informational and entertainment purposes. The content provided does not constitute professional, medical, financial, or legal advice. We are not licensed medical practitioners, financial advisors, or legal professionals. Always consult with a qualified healthcare provider for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Any financial topics discussed are based on personal opinions and experience and should not be considered professional advice. The content provided does not constitute legal advice. The Diva Details and its affiliate contributor and guests are not liable for any losses or damages arising from the use of our content. The opinions expressed in the podcast are solely those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of any affiliated organization, sponsors, or partner. All facts discussed in the podcast are researched and accurate to the best of our knowledge at the time of recording. Information may change over time. No guarantees are made regarding the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any statements or opinions presented. It is the responsibility of the listener to verify any and all facts that may influence their decision. This podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered professional advice.